Guys, welcome to the channel. I know it's been some time since I've given you Yu-Gi-Oh content, and I was about to come back like a week ago. To my surprise, Yu-Gi-Oh is changing rules again. I'm gonna say this real quick because this is not what the video is about. But as a Yu-Gi-Oh player for almost like, I don't even know how much Yu-Gi-Oh is, what, 15 years, more than 15 years, 17 years more. Bro, I think Yu-Gi-Oh hit the 20-year mark, if I'm not mistaken. Anyways, it's not the important part. The important part is, it almost feels like Yu-Gi-Oh is trying to kill the game on purpose for some reason. I'm going to tell you something. I think this is a sad truth that we guys have to realize about all the games in particular as a whole. This is not a Yu-Gi-Oh thing. We've entered 2025, and you guys have to realize digital, like making games entirely digital is like the correct way to go. Like Yu-Gi-Oh Master Duel existing, there's no way Yu-Gi-Oh was ever not going to push Master Duel to what it is now, and especially with the numbers Yu-Gi-Oh is making it Master Duel. So I just want to make it abundantly clear that this is not going to stop. And they had a lot of backlash for the Edison rulings before Worlds or during Worlds. But this is not going to change soon. And a lot of the Yu-Gi-Oh content creators are it's not cope. It's their job at the end of the day. I know why they're saying it, or why they have to basically keep pushing Yu-Gi-Oh content or say that the game's not dead. But one way or another, physical card games, it's not that they're going to phase out, but they want to make the player base at least a 50-50. So this YCS or competitive, let's say, like tournament ruling of time, it's basically just pushing or incentivizing players to basically go to the events they're actually, how do I say, equipped to participate. Because remember, winning that many games in a row to enter the top 8, you really have to be skilled. You really have to be like on par with the meta. You have to have every single bit of every card within the pool, within the rotation, or whatever you want to call it. Sorry, I'm saying rotation because I've been playing Magic, but yeah, you really have to be adept at the meta. Otherwise, you're not gonna travel to a YCS or a big event to just whiff on the last round, literally just to not enter top 8. Which I guess, in hindsight, it's good for competitive reasons because you're going to see the best of the best now at the YCSs. But it's bad for the lower base of the lower end of the player base, because now it's very defining that casual players are not in the interest of competitiveness. Which, I'm gonna be honest, that's in everything now. We're not gonna outrun it. So Yu-Gi-Oh players, I wish just Yu-Gi-Oh incentivized at least like a commander format, like for MTG, for what it has, like some sort of ban list, like the Yu-Gi-Oh community can do. Maybe that's the equivalent to Edison, but they're trying to push out Edison as much. So I think that's why it feels so bad. It's like even the players that are playing Edison feel like left out. But I don't know. I'm not trying to doom peel you guys, but it's a marker on reality of what's happening on Yu-Gi-Oh now. But anyways, I'm gonna bring you guys, enough about the doom peeling, White Forest deck profile. I've been out of the Yu-Gi-Oh scene, but this is the deck that absolutely has keeping me running, or has me playing it locals at the very least, because this deck is super entertaining and super fun. And I'm going to tell you guys, even though the ban list is, this deck is going to be absolutely really good, because I think it's Dark Magician of Destruction. I'm going to put it right here. Look, let me see if I can. I'm going to put it here, right here. Dark Magician of Destruction is going to be the new card that's coming out. I don't know where it's coming out. I'm going to be completely honest, because it's one of those side set cards. But anyways, it's going to be enabled to Diabolical Dark Witch to turn into a Dragoon before you started your plays, which is really good. So White Forest players, get ready for that card to come out, because it's absolutely going to put White Forest in the map again, at least for the better part. Because this deck actually, like, it did good at Worlds. And it's not gonna get hit by the violent list, so that's really good. So hopefully White Forest gets a little bit of shine next format. But I'm gonna bring you what is gonna be a board breaker White Forest deck profile. I mean, it's not really board breaker, but it's like what I think what White Forest has evolved to be. It's my iteration, but it's like you guys are gonna see that there's some cards that you actually have to play during this meta and next meta, because I don't think that meta is gonna change that much. Pretty sure K9 and Yummy are gonna still be thriving, especially with the new cards coming out. But yeah, White Forest. So let's get it started. Let me give you guys this deck profile. Let's move on. Okay, guys. So welcome back. This I'm gonna make this as quick as possible. There's a lot of details I can put into this. I'm possibly gonna make more dueling videos with Hamster, because I'm pretty sure that's the best way to give you analysis of the cards, of why I'm running it, multiples, and all that good shit. But let's get this started right ahead, because there's quite a little bit of spice in here. Which, by the way, this deck is 48 cards. If you guys look at my old videos, I always say I'm never running White Forest a little below 45, unless just I'm really taking it to like a really high competitive event, and I know for a fact I'm only gonna be facing 80% Yummy, for example, and I'm gonna like literally build my deck entirely to beat Yummy. Again, like a very specific scenario. Otherwise, generally speaking, we're just gonna run a deck like this, so I can combat the entire meta, because I am running quite a few hand traps and quite a few board breakers, because I know White Forest can't have the ability to go full hand trap. The starters have this niche. Obviously, if you play White Forest, you do need spell traps to actually make your cards trigger, right? So that's one of the things that White Forest does have, that's a little bit to the detriment, but a little bit to their positivity, because we have good cards that we can run like Black Hole Blast, which is a little bit of a spoiler, but let's go right into this. We're playing 3 Sylvie, which, by the way, I'm going to tell you something. God bless whoever made the entire White Forest deck in the tin as, what is it, Prismatic. I'm going to hopefully get that in the future, because, bro, this is one of the only decks that still has me clinging to Yu-Gi-Oh! But anyways, 3 Sylvie and 1 LZ as a mean. I'm never changing this. I ran it at 2. 1 is perfect. Even when it was at its best at 2, because of Joel Lockberg, I still think 1 is correct. So, I don't. It's not that you search it easily. It's not, more oftentimes than not, where you do draw it, it's not that much of a difference where you drawing it and you're searching another card to replace it makes that much of a difference. So it's like running 2 of it. Is it gonna actually, like, okay, I drew this card, I don't have to search it, let me search something else. That does not happen. And if it does, it's like a point. It's like you're searching which rule you were already gonna search, because the monsters you can search in this deck are limited. And I'm running a Stellar. I'm just gonna put this right here, but that's because I only wanted another starter, and this card is still good because I'm really Droplet, so you can like pitch it, and then midway synchro, especially if you're breaking into boards, you can like sneak this in while Arceala is resolving, so your opponent has to deal with this too. And that being said, I'm running Rosia just because how many interruptions your opponent can do, especially on when going second. You want to have like multiple ways to extend your plays. And what really had me running not cutting this card is against K9 and against Draco Tail. They try to turn 0 play you, and you have nothing else to play with except Engine. You can always go Rosia into any of the special level 2s, because you have a lot of them. You can go like LZ, this or the other one. And the only way to extend is just having a Rosia. You can special summon if they get rid of this one. You can't use your normal summon, of course. Then 3 LZ. Right, that's to round out the White Forest monsters. And then we do have, of course, 3 Witch of the White Forest, one of the quick play spell cards, and one of the searchers. We're not running woes. I cut it. The reason it being, it's because it's just 2 mid, right? I'm running Morrigan again because Morrigan is flexible in the sense that it's a grind card, and it's a card you could dump if you actually need a trap for you to be able to resolve Vengeance. So Morrigan has like so many different applications, even though in the sense where book of mooding stuff isn't actually sometimes the best you can do, especially when you're going first. It's still really good. For you to have a searchable Pokemon in a lot of other matches, but yeah. But this is what I'm running. And then one Dab All-Star, or one Black Witch. I don't think I'm... There's theory behind running 3, and people always flame me for that. I understand it, it's fine. But this is one of the cards that just gives you too much consistency. There's a reason why they ran into 3 at Snake Eyes, and you never had to. The problem is consistency is key and everything, especially when you're running hand traps. Like, just be able to jump hand traps for you to get one of the best cards in your deck when it feels good, right? And of course the Vengeance package. There's nothing really to say about this. You never cut this. Sometimes when I started playing White Forest, where it was just Fiendsmith and it was none of this came out. Sometimes I felt like the deck had like a better grind game, and these cards just had me wondering, well, what if I just put Fiendsmith instead of this again? But this is a card that always just ends up killing your opponent, and that is so important. Because there's nothing that can end a game faster in this deck than this. I can't emphasize that a lot. Like, these cards are so important to run. So if you have even a glimpse in your head that you have to cut these cards, don't do it. By the way, these cards are very important. And by the way, there's actually like theory where you can just run 2 and 2 because that's how good these cards are. Going second. Yeah. And then for the hand traps, we're running 3 Ash. 3 Fool. This is kind of a hefty hand trap. There's a reason because of this, because I was playing like multiple Nibiru's. It was like Ash, Full Willows, Nibiru's, and a full hand trap. I'm running 2 Nibiru's, and I'm running a Veiler. It's just the fact that I have to scare my opponents that I could draw multiple hand traps, if that makes sense. And I have to still run hand traps. There was a world where I just draw like 6 Fuwa and just go full Bro Breaker and just run the Fuwas. Problem is, this is not realistic. Your opponent knows, especially with Paradise in the meta, that these cards aren't necessarily just gonna win your game outright, especially if they game full combo appropriately, especially against Canine, which sometimes you follow them if they have the right cards in hand. It doesn't do anything. Problem is when you go into Yummy, where these cards are mid, but these cards aren't mid if you pair them with other hand traps, right? So if you have like Imperm's Veiler or Nibiru's, the Frugalers go. It's not that they go crazy, but they have to play into them. It's not like it does nothing, right? So you already have covering one of the best decks in the meta, and Yummy, it does something against them. And then this card is just decent all around against them, and of course it's just a really good card. But these are just the hand traps I'm running. And of course, every time I think about cutting this card, I'm like, how the hell am I gonna summon Vengeance again? This card's just decent enough, going second. Mid when breaking boards, but just having it at a fuel as a Vengeance when you're in the clapback, and this meta is all about like grind game, then this card's just really good. And then for the Wanta stuff, of course, you play 3 Sinful Spoils, 1 Deception, and 1 Morrigan. There's nothing much to say about this. I'm running 1 Hollow Azamina, 1 Deaders. The reason I'm running Deaders is because Lunalight is a real deck, by the way. And this deck, it's not that it doesn't have out to Lunalight. Yeah, the way Lunalight plays is that it just spits its board, and it literally looks at you and said, okay, this is a solitaire game, play it, you need to win it. The only way you win it is with this, because you have a way to get an Azamina and just to revive her back after they Raigeki it. If they you summon first Saint Azamina, if they do have a way to Raigeki it, you can just revive it with Deaders. And this card is just good around, especially if they Perula you. Or they Full you, I mean. You have like a lot of ways against like, the Mole Charmies. It's just a good flexibility, especially when you start field spell card first and have to. You don't end like on a very, very ass half board because you can't resolve your Hallowed Azamina. And OCG was always running this because of that reason, because they do have to play with a field spell card sometimes because they don't have these at 3. So it's just like this card's already got like, especially if you draw like things like this before you can even like play, and you summon your Omni Negate, it's just so good. Especially when people are some of the decks, especially Yummy, are running like 20 hand traps. So if they fool you, it's not the end of the world. Or Perula you, or like Nibiru, you can still end up on a hand forward. You can give like 2 cards and still like end on a decent board. And then this is a card that is like the shimmer of hope of you playing White Forest is Droplets. Reason why not only is this good against the deck you're not really building against, which is Yummy. This is crazy against Yummy. But against the decks that play turn 0 like K9 and Draco Tail, this absolutely destroys them. Because you have like one of the best cards that still plays with your hand and just outright just stops your game plan. Like this card's just insanely broken because it's just really good going first and just really good going second. Especially, let's just put these here, which is just called the 100 talents. I do know why people don't run talents in this deck. This deck in particular, talents is just free. Because even if you can't resolve it for some odd reason, you just pitch it. Like it's fine. You can always recycle it back. Go in second with Diabellstar. It's just a really good card. But yeah, the reason you can pair this with this is one of the craziest things ever. Dude, I don't know how much to emphasize. Like if you go like Droplets, Black Holes Laughs, especially against decks that try to respond with traps. Say for example, you're playing against Draco Tail, you have a trap set, and you go like Sylvie. Okay, they're like, okay, I want a fusion, for example. Okay, I'll Droplets and Black Holes Left. They're absolutely cucked. Because it's put in the position, it can't respond to trap right away, and you can't Black Holes Laughs. Any of the interactions they have to put in between the chain. So when they end up like resolving the trap, it's always to be like half-winded. So it's just like a really good combination, especially against like decks like Draco Tail and K9. And it's crazy going first, dude. Like going, it's not just this. Like going. Sorry, the card stands for a bit. You can go like LZ, pitch Black Holes Laughs. The way this works, it's just this is for people who don't really just, like have a concept of how good this card is. The way this works, if you try to summon LZ, this pitches for cost. You put your opponent in a very precautious situation because this is triggered on the hand. So if your opponent tries to interact this with a pop, you have this in your graveyard, so you can like remove it in response to the LZ summoning itself to try to interact with in your opponent's board before this even hits the board. That's how crazy it is. Yeah, like breaking boards is just a really good card. And at 3, it's just you have another card you can draw into. Like sometimes, let's say for example, you get full walls, you can go like set imperm, set Black Holes X, set Droplets, and then even if you go like Sylvie quick play pass, for example, because I'm not running lows. Again, that's one of the only bad situations where your opponent goes like full wall, and you really just don't want to play with it because you drew like these 2 cards. You could go Sylvie Woes, but the quick play spell card always goes just as hard because you run like 2 cards, so you can just always like Chimera them most of the time. So you always draw into 2 monsters because it's really monster heavy too. So you go like Sylvie quick play spell card and have these 2 set. It's like when you go first, it's like basically GG because your opponent just self-build themselves a little more charming. This is like really good. That's it for the main deck. It's 48 cards if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, dude, this extra deck, I've been tweaking this extra deck for the longest time, and this is like what I've gotten to the extra deck where I literally feel I do not need anything else ever. The only look up playing SP, and especially you have to play it now because Nibiru is in the meta. You have to play this card. Even if sometimes you play a little weird, you're gonna end up in like a really good board, and the only thing that's gonna save you sometimes playing against Nibiru is just SP, because you can just SP your Diabellstar off, and that by itself is just putting your opponent in like a really bad board state if they Nibiru you there. But on top of you summoning everything else, so you go full combo. This always goes into that board. Yeah. Then one synced as let's just go for the fusion spells because I want to explain a lot of things here first, or for the majority. I'm playing like the full-fledged Azamina. Oh, which by the way, that Sylvie explanation with the I'm not running Chimera. I took it out. But the fusion spells you can absolutely summon with these cards are more than enough times, enough. So I'm running the full Azamina package, and the only interruption I'm running in the form of the quick play spell card is the soul, whatever. I'm not gonna spell that. The soul, and it's usually just enough because the way you end on your airboard is SP Vengeance Diabellstar. So you're always just gonna have Diabellstar pop, special summon, go Vengeance with that White Witch, and then just leave the Vengeance open, so you can synchro, so you can fusion off into this. And if not, you're just always just summoning Azamina on the turn and just going this and popping the back row. But yeah, I think these are just the fusion support cards that are just needed, and then just Shirozo, because it's the only way to unbreak your hand if you just draw wanted. That happens way too often. People who play White Forest know that. It happens way too often for you to not run this card. And I'm not running Super Poly, but it's just because until Axiom Kicker comes into the meta or is released, I don't think it's okay. Like Super Poly is okay, but it's just not the best card, I guess. So the best way to phrase it. But yeah, those are the features for the synchros. It's just one of each of the White Forest. One Snake Eyes, this is never getting cutting off because of how good it is, and one Chaos Angel. It's just one of the cards that just helps you stall in some against some matchups. You just auto win. I'm gonna be honest, because you put themselves in a position where they're just stalling, and you can just end up resolving Vengeance and just kill them. Chaos Angel is going to do that. And then 1 second End Punisher, which is the best synchro or the best flex spot ever, because it just helps you kill your opponent, but it helps you play against the Luna Light, which is it's really a deck you have to keep in mind. But it's the 50th card that actually matters, if that makes sense. I've been running like Chimera in a lot of cards, but this is like the best card. Again, Chimera does come up in that niche situation where I just said, but yeah, this is good. You can always just if you're put in that situation where you're normal summoning Sylvie and they full lose for you, for example, you can always just give them 2 cards and just end on Diabellstar, which is always worth it, by the way. 2 cards for ending up in Diabellstar White Witch, or Diabell Wise Witch is like really good. It's like more interruptions that 2 cards for your opponent can afford. So be scared of giving your opponent cards in that situation. Then for the side deck, I decided to cook a side deck as quick as possible. But I think this is just generally what you're running. By the way, this is like the idea of the side deck I was running. It's like a month or 2 ago when the meta just erupted and just came back to it. This is basically just the same thing. It really isn't as prevalent. So I didn't want to run like full amounts of troll, for example. I just wanted it was better against the meta. So I just cited what was good going first, because your deck is so good going second most of the times, where you're really just scared of your opponent hand trapping you to death, especially if there's draw, because people are side decking draw. So I just decided to side deck like triple trust. 1 Foolish Burial Goods. It's just literally to jump this, but this also works as a starter in your deck because I didn't want to run Terraforming. So this is just like a really good flex spot. So it's like a flex spot for you to search an Omni Negate, and a flex spot for you to open Engine. So that's really good. And then 1 Barrier and 1 Sanctum for the targets. This isn't even against Malice, it's against Kriston. So Kriston is actually a real deck. So I'm just running these 2, so I'm just using talents as my main, how do I say, because it's really just going for first, it's not for going for seconds. Hopefully the Perulias get me there. or you can just run like multiple copies of these if you wanted to. But yeah, I just came with the thought that this card's just very, very flexible, especially against this meta. So you can call synchro with Charmy, or not Charmies. You can call synchro against Yummy. You can call fusions against Draco Tail. You can call Exorcy against K9. Even though against K9 is not the best, but against Memento, for example, you call fusion, shit like that. It's like really decent, and it's like the best cards that you can pair up with talents. And then one cross-act designator for when they side draw, because I am running 2 draw side deck. It's just because of Mitsurugi. It's just not going harder than them. I think just siding 2 of them on par with the other hand traps should be enough. So I run Puerto main deck. And then one simple spoil subversion for decks that just summon outright Bakushka, so you at least have an out in your main deck. And then 2 of the Bestials, just so you have like Fiendsmith coverage. I just wanted like a very diverse side deck. Yeah, I was running like the Solid package, but I guess this just does the job, because you're playing an FTK deck. It sounds more serious than what it is, but you're playing an FTK deck that if your opponent just doesn't hand trap you, I don't think you're gonna need Solid Desert or any Solid for that fact. So if your opponent does hand trap you, you can always end up on a half board. Plus Dragon Mind, and on the clap it. You set it back, get rid of the board, and then you just set this back, right? So it's like, that's the plan of the attack. But yeah, that is the side deck. I like this deck, but like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm eagerly awaiting for the Dark Magician Destruction and the Gaze of Tamayas. Those are the 2 cards. I'll put it right here again. Hold on. Sure, the orientation's killing me. Anyways, Dark Magician of Destruction, it's gonna make the deck really good, because it almost gives you like what the deck needed, not what the deck needed, because putting 2 on renegades is crazy, even in 2025 when going first, because that means a lot of your cards are resolving. And Dragoon is no card to be not scared of going second too. But anyways, guys, hopefully when those cards do come out, I'll give you a deck list. Which, by the way, heads up, get the Sarcophagus cards. I think it's Golden Sarcophagus, if I'm not mistaken, the archetype, because they have a way to cheat out the Dark Magician, and the Dark Magician cheats out the new fusion. So there might be a deck list with that, but generally speaking, that's what they do, get cheated on all the decks. So just get it just in case. Just giving you a little market shout out, so you guys can get prepared. But anyways, guys, yeah, I'll be coming back with some duel videos, so you guys can be more prepared for when that meta comes out, and you can learn a few combos. I'll be coming with the combo videos too, so you guys can see how good that card is. So anyways, guys, I'll be back with more Yu-Gi-Oh content sooner or later. Who knows? Yu-Gi-Oh is Yu-Gi-Oh. Be Yu-Gi-Oh. But anyways, guys, love you guys, and peace.